And the Flashes basketball team hosted a Halloween event this weekend. We have the recap.
Hoban hosted Willoughby South in round 1 of the playoffs. We have the highlights later on.
And the Cavs took on the Knicks this weekend, and Donovan Mitchell is still cooking. We have the highlights and much more on Sports Corner, which starts right now. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Sports Corner. I'm Mergen.
And I'm Liv Sharp. The Kent State football team is gearing up for tomorrow night's midweek MACtion versus Ball State.
And Kent State head coach Sean Lewis talked to TV2 Sports ahead of the matchup. Take a look.
Initially with everything right now, very, very talented. They got, a wide receiver that they've targeted over 90 times. That is an explosive playmaker. They got a big physical running game that they like to dictate and control the pace of play. They are playing at a much faster clip. I mean, they're the 7th fastest tempo team in the country. So actually offensively, when it comes to their pace of play and how fast they're snapping the ball, they're actually playing faster than us on a national level right now. So, they're kind of going about it and attacking things in a little bit different way in that regards. Defensively, they're long, they're physical, they're athletic. They play really, really hard. Their pass defense has been one of the best in the league. So they're active and they value special teams. They got good players playing on teams. So again, we're going to have our hands full and we got to prepare the right way. And then we got to show up and be at our best here in 9 days on a Tuesday.
And then we got Kent State versus Ball State preview. Ball State, they're 4-4, and Kent State's 3-5. Both of them have a 2-2 conference record. And Schlee, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Cooper, 845 yards, 8 touchdowns. Cephas, 731 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's going to be a big game for both teams. I'm excited to see what happens. And Liv, after a wagon wheel win for Kent, do you think the Flashes can make it 2 in a row against Ball State?
A lot of people would be really nervous going into this game with the possibility that Devin Cardman might get the start over Colin Schlee, but I'm not. I know we had a rocky game, but I believe he can be carried to victory on the back of Dante Cephas and Marquez Cooper, who are both having stellar seasons. Both teams have had sort of a rough start, but Kent State is looking to continue to defend their home turf winning streak, and not to mention the Cardinals lost to the Flashes last year, and I think that there is a definite possibility that it will happen once again this year.
I agree. I think the Flashes can get it done, but I don't think it's going to be a pretty win. In my opinion, the key to success for the Flashes will be a run defense. Ball State's running back Carson Steele, he leads the MAC with 890 rushing yards, and it's just shy of 80% of the team's total rushing yards, and he has every single rushing score for Ball State this season. He's the engine of that offense, and the Kent defensive front better be ready to play. It has struggled at times this season, but they will be the X factor in this game. And the duo of Cephas and Walker will need to perform to the level that we both know they can. And like I've said already, I think it's a defensive battle, but a very winnable game for Kent State. And then just looking at my prediction, like I said, a low-scoring game, but I think Kent wins the defensive battle ultimately. I think they take this one with a final score of 24-21 over Ball State.
I'm pulling Kent State 28 over Ball State 17. I got a good feeling about this game tomorrow night. It's a midweek MACtion. It's going to be a great game. Hopefully we'll get Kent State's 13th straight home win.
And the Kent State field hockey team, they lost their final game of the regular season at Michigan State. Both teams were tied after the first quarter of play, but the Spartans would score in the second and fourth to defeat the Flashes 3-1. With the regular season over, Kent State will travel to Oxford, Ohio this Friday to compete in the Mid-American Conference playoffs as the number 2 seed, and the Flashes are set to take on Appalachian State. The opening face-off is set for 2:30.
Sophomore Beatty Baugh and junior Joe Farley made history Saturday afternoon at the 2022 Mid-American Conference Cross Country Championships as the first Kent State runners to clock sub-24-minute times in the men's 8K race at the conference meet. Baugh crossed the finish line in 23 minutes and 55 seconds to place second and earn All-MAC first-team honors. Farley took ninth with a personal best time of 23 seconds and 56 seconds for All-MAC second-team accolades. Baugh and Farley are the first Golden Flash teammates to post top 10 finishes since 2009. You can see them again for the NCAA Great Lakes Regional on Friday, November 11th.
And it was a tough weekend for the Kent State volleyball team after suffering a 3-1 loss to Western Michigan at home. There were a few shining stars, including senior Morgan Copley with a strong performance, posting a season-high 14 kills to lead the attack. Graduate student Aaron Gardner led all players with 26 digs, and junior Brian Roberts added a season-best 15 digs. They will be back in action on Thursday and Friday at Balll State.
The Kent State women's soccer team fell to Buffalo in their season finale. The Bisons scored twice during the first 26 minutes before a quiet second half to cap off a Buffalo shutout over the Flashes with a final score of 2-0. With this loss, the Flashes season has officially ended, and they look towards next season.
And the Kent State basketball team hosted a spectacular event to kick off their 2022-2023 season. The first part of the event was trick-or-treating around the MAC for kids. All Kent State athletic teams set up their own tables, and some even dressed up in costumes to hand out candy to the youngest Golden Flashes fans. And Flash made a special appearance, all decked out in his Super Flash costume.
Then the main event was hosted by the voice of the Cavs, Ahmad Crump, and it saw the men's and women's basketball teams facing off in a dunk contest, a three-point contest, and even a dance-off. But they teamed up to complete a skills challenge. Both teams start their seasons next week, and coaches Starkey and Senderoff want there to be a massive turnout to support the Golden Flashes.
And Hoban and Willoughby South clashed in round 1 of the playoffs on Friday. We will have the highlights when we come back.
That's good. It happens. It happens.
I surrender.
All right, pal. Get ready for the day, buddy.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
What's that?
Do we have a gun?
And thanks for sticking with us. Hoban and Willoughby South faced off in the first round of the high school football playoffs. Let's go. And we got the Hoban Knights taking on Willoughby South High School. Hoban, they're going to strike first in this matchup as the handoff is to Lamar Sperling. Get used to hearing his name as Sperling ran all over the field against South High School. Hoban takes a 7-0 lead, and Hoban knocking on the door again. Lamar Sperling gets the handoff. He'll punch this one in. And then South High School, they would respond. Direct snap to QB Connor Brincatelli. He finds an opening, outrunning the whole defense. Willoughby South, they get on the board, and the Hoban offense, it cannot be stopped. Guess who? Lamar Sperling breaks away for a monster run. This one would make Sperling's third touchdown of this game, and he was far from done. Hoban increases their big lead, and Sperling, he's just carrying this offense. But Willoughby South, they're not going to give up in this matchup. Brincatelli would keep his team alive with another direct snap and run for a touchdown. He had both touchdown runs for his team, and the South defense needed to step up, but they could not stop Lamar Sperling. He's going to dash his way around the entire South defense, out-juking every defender, and they could not catch him. Sperling, he gets his 5th touchdown of the game. What a performance. And he had not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 rushing touchdowns as he gets one more. Hoban, they roll past Willoughby South and wins with a final score of 57-14 on Lamar's great performance.
Now Hudson is taking on Solon. Will come into focus as Ian Ludwig rips off a 44-yard run to the house. That RB1 for the Explorers, it's going to put them up 10-0 early in the second. Solon on offense here. QB is going to take the snap. Pressure's coming. He'll scramble out of the pocket, try to hit his receiver, but it'll be picked. Trey Sharp of the Hudson Explorers will take off. He will go all the way, 70 yards for a pick 6 in the third. Hudson will take a 17-0 lead. Hudson QB Jagger Palais will have the moves like Jagger. He's going to dash out of the pocket. He's feeling the heat, so he's going to take off and running. He finally gets taken down to 15, but that'll set up the Explorers for this touchdown. Ian Ludwig, he's just going to walk it in there to the end zone. Comments were confused there. I was too. The Explorers now have a 24-0 lead. They've still got a little gas left in the tank, though, or specifically Jagger Palais does. He looks like Trevor Lawrence with his majestic hair blowing in the wind as he leaves the Comet defense in the dust. It was a stellar night for Jagger and the Explorers as they will get a commanding 31-0 lead and advance on to face the Walsh Jesuit Knights.
Now looking at some high school football scores. Wadsworth 44, Elira 13. Massillon, they smacked Perry 48-7. Medina, they put up 42 against Strongsville 7. Mentor 35, Brunswick 14, and then St. Ed's 49 Stowe. They only were able to put up 6. And Liv, the Hudson Explorers, they can make their case as one of the most impressive.
A look at round 2 of the high school football playoffs. This week we've got Aurora versus Canfield Mentor versus McKinley, Barberton versus Hoban. That's going to be a good game. Wadsworth versus Medina, and North Royalton versus Avon.
And Liv, the Hudson Explorers, they can make their case as one of the most impressive teams this year. They just won 31-0 against Solon, and they are 11-0 on the year, and they'll host Walsh for their next playoff game. Do you think Hudson picks up yet another win?
I absolutely think they will beat Walsh. The team I watched Friday is going to make a deep run into the playoffs. Mark my words. They are a complete unit. They're led by Jagger Pillay, who has one of the best arms in high school football. Their RB1 is Ian Ludwig, who I genuinely think cannot be brought down by any defense, and the same goes for Jagger. Moving on to their defense, Trey Sharp is making every QB shake with fear because he has yet to find a pass he cannot bat down. Plus, there's Gio DePompe, who can haul in some crazy passes from Pillay, as well as make great defensive plays. There's a reason the Explorers are still undefeated, and I predict they will remain the same way even after Friday.
And Liv, I'm going to have to agree with you there. This Explorer team does everything right on both sides of the ball, and the team has scored almost 350 points on the year and only given up 106. Do I think it's going to be a shutout against Solon? No, it's not easy getting 2 shutouts in a row. And also, this Walsh team, it's 9-2, and they have a high-powered offense, putting up almost 500 points on the season, and they have won 5 straight games and just rolled past Maple Heights. But overall, I'm picking Hudson in this game, but I do think it'll be a lot closer of a game than people think between the 2 great offenses. And the Buckeyes took on the Nittany Lions in Happy Valley in a top 25 matchup. Find out if the Buckeyes could stay undefeated when SportsCorner returns in 30 seconds.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
And welcome back. The Ohio State Buckeyes look to remain undefeated as they face their toughest test yet. Let's go to the highlights. We got Ohio State taking on Penn State. To start things off, we got Sean Clifford. He's going to drop back, and the pass is intercepted. What a catch by Tui Malawau, and he gets the ball back for the Buckeyes. Now Stroud, he hands it to Williams, and he's going to punch it in for the score. They had to review it, but it was ultimately called a touchdown on the play, and the Buckeyes, they're going to jump out to a nice 10-0 lead in this game. And then we go early in the second. Sean Clifford will drop it again. He finds Parker Washington, spins out 2 defenders, and he is off to the races. Washington puts Penn State on the board in this game. It's now 10-7. And then Penn State, they started to steal momentum. Clifford again fires one of the end zone for the score. Clifford, he had 3 touchdowns on this game. What a great performance. And then Penn State on 4th and goal here on the next drive. They're going to hand it off to Allen, and he will score. Penn State, they take the lead in the 4th, 21-16. Upset alert potentially. The Buckeyes, they needed a spark, and they called on Travion Henderson. He gave them just that. He breaks away for a long run, and no one was stopping him. The Buckeyes, they regain the lead and will call upon their defense. The Buckeyes defense, they needed a stop, and Tui Malawau makes it happen. He forces this fumble, and the Buckeyes, they're able to recover. What a game by this Ohio State defense, stepping up when they needed it most against a great offense. And now Stroud, he would give this offense in gear. He fires this one to Cade Stover. The stove was red hot and the Buckeye offense was cooking. They started routing this Penn State team. Good touchdown for the Buckeyes. Like I said, they started to run with it, and the Buckeye defense, they made sure there was no chance of a comeback. Tui Malawau would get an interception for a pick 6, and the Buckeyes, they would win behind this great performance, 44-31 in this game.
Now to good old Rocky Top. Hendon Hooker will drop back, fire a dot over to the completely unprotected Jalen Hyatt. Hyatt's just going to walk in the end zone here. It's no big deal. That was a big mistake. Huge for the Wildcats. 2nd and goal for the Wildcats. Chris Rodriguez will take the handoff, weave his way through the Vols defense and into the end zone. Now the Vols are at the goal line. Hooker's going to hand it off to Princeton Fant, and he's going to do the same thing as Rodriguez. He's just going to go straight up the middle. Into the end zone he goes. The Vols extend their lead. The Wildcats looking to punch it in. Will Levis will pitch us over to his man, but he gets met up in the air. The ball comes loose and Jawan Mitchell snatches it before it hits the ground. Then he is gone. The defense are going to make a few blocks, but he'll make it all the way down to the 50 before he is shoved out of bounds. 28 seconds left in the half. The Vols are trying to get into scoring position. Hooker will try and find an open man, and who else does he go to but Jalen Hyatt, who will snag that in the end zone. Score going into the half, 27-6 Tennessee. Will Levis desperately trying to keep his Cats in the game, but one badly placed throw. He's picked off by the Vols' Danico Slaughter. Tennessee, they're going to be in the red zone one last time. Hooker decides he's going to keep this one. He's rolling, he's spinning, and he will take it to the house. Tennessee will win 44-6. Hey, don't look now, folks, but the Vols are still undefeated, but they have their biggest challenge coming up this week.
And we got West Virginia. They're at home hosting number 7 TCU. We go to late in the first. Max Duggan is going to drop back, and he's going to take the top off the Mountaineers secondary as he lasers one to Tay Barber. The Horned Frogs, they tie the game on this touchdown. What a play by Tay Barber. And then early in the second quarter, Duggan, he's going to drop back again, and he lofts one up to his wide receiver, Quentin Johnston. Johnston, he's wide open. He will take this to the house. Duggan, he threw for 3 touchdowns, including this 55-yard pass to Quentin Johnston. And with a tie game in the second, a handoff to Miller allows him to break one free. Miller, he skates past the entire West Virginia defense, and he would give the Horned Frogs the lead. 21 points in the quarter for TCU and late in the first half. West Virginia, they're knocking on the door. Short pass from JT Daniels. He's going to find Justin Johnson Jr. West Virginia, they would tie the game. High-scoring first half with under a minute to go, and the handoff was to Imani Bailey. Bailey books to his right, and he will take this for the score. Bailey, 1 carry, 1 touchdown. It's a big one as it gives them the 28-21 lead at the half. And then we go to the fourth. West Virginia down 10. Daniels will launch one to Reese Smith. I don't know how he held on to that touchdown pass. What a play by Reese Smith. Great grab. It's amazing he held on to that. And West Virginia, they make it a 3-point game on that 23-yard touchdown. And then late in the fourth, under a minute, 4th and 1, they will throw it to the end zone. Touchdown from Duggan to Savion Williams. TCU, they went for it all instead of just trying to pick up the yard, and it paid off. They remain undefeated with a final score of 41-31 over West Virginia in this game.
We will head up north where Michigan is taking on Michigan State. 28 seconds left in the first. Peyton Thorne is going to take the snap, drop back, lob it up to Keon Coleman, who was in heavy coverage, and Coleman is going to take it into the end zone to give the Spartans a 7-3 lead. To the second we go. It's 3rd and goal for the Wolverines. J.J. McCarthy will pitch it over to Blake Corum. He'll shake a defender and keep on chugging into the end zone, and the Wolverines have retaken the lead. And a play so nice, they'll do it twice. Stop me if you've heard this before, folks. Corum with a carry. He'll find a gap up the middle and score for the U of M, extending their lead 29-7. Michigan State desperately trying to make something happen here. Thorne, he's dropping back, looking for an open man. He'll fire, and he is picked. Thorne is picked off by Rod Moore. Look at him run, folks. He cannot be brought down, or he's brought down at the 40, and that's going to do it for the Spartans. The Wolverines will win this one 29-7, and they will retain possession of that prize Paul Bunyan Trophy for another year.
And we have the Syracuse Orange at home taking on the Fighting Irish Notre Dame. First play of the game here, Orange on offense, and that changes quickly as Garrett Schrader throws a quick interception. Brandon Joseph takes it back for 6. Notre Dame, they're on the board, and Clemson fans, they are shocked. Syracuse again on offense, and Schrader, he would look to left and throw to Gadsden for the touchdown. Syracuse, they quickly scored to even this game back up. And then Notre Dame in the red zone, handoff to Logan Diggs. He will punch it in for the score. The Fighting Irish take the lead once again, 20 carries, 85 yards for Diggs. And the rushing attack was on full display, but they can throw it too as Pine finds wide receiver Jaden Thomas for the score. Unranked Notre Dame, they're looking for the upset. And then late in the third, the Orange in the red zone, and the handoffs to Sean Tucker. He gets to the outside, touchdown. Syracuse cuts the deficit to a 1-score game. And then in the fourth, Notre Dame trying to hang on, and they hand it off for another touchdown. The Fighting Irish, they rush for 3 touchdowns for total, and they fight all the way to a 41-24 upset win. Great win for Notre Dame. And Liv, the Georgia Bulldogs, they're still holding on to that number 1 spot, but an upcoming game with Tennessee could change that. Who do you like in that matchup?
As much as I would like to see the Vols upend another SEC rival, I think the Bulldogs are going to take this one. Georgia's coming in at 10.5-point favorites, and they're at home, which, as we all know, is a major advantage. I do, however, see this game being really high scoring and back and forth for most of the game. Make no mistake, Georgia is not unbeatable, but I just think the Bulldogs are the more complete team, although I do argue that Tennessee QB Hendon Hooker is having a much better season than Stetson Bennett. While Stetson is thrown for more yards, he has only 9 touchdowns to Hooker's 21. Either way, one of these teams will have their undefeated campaign end by Saturday evening, and there will definitely be shakeup in the AP poll come next Sunday.
That Bulldogs team is tough, but I am picking Tennessee to win. They have been a consistent 40-plus points the past 4 weeks and have been more battle-tested than the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs have shown struggle a few times this season, their game against Missouri being the most notable one. And the Volunteers have proven to play up to their competition like they did against Bama and don't play down like Georgia has a few times. I expect this game to be similar to the Tennessee and Alabama game earlier this year, undecided all the way down to the wire, but when it comes down to crunch time, I trust this Tennessee team way more, and I do believe they are way more battle-tested than the Georgia Bulldogs. And it was another exciting Sunday on the gridiron. We will go around the NFL when we return.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes, but with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
It's not my first time bartending, so.
It's a sausage party in here.
It's fine. I'm very familiar.
Yeah, because you're a sexy girl, Sam. Last thing,
Yeah.
is that the music, when Momo kicks it into high gear, is going to get a little bit loud in here. So your customers are going to have a hard time hearing you. So you may want to
What?
Welcome back to Sports Corner. I'm Austin Arnold, and let's go around the NFL. We're going to start off with Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. Lamar Jackson and Tom Brady going hand in hand in this one. Third quarter, Lamar will roll right, and he will find Kenyon Drake to tie the score up to make it 10-10. We're all tied at Raymond James Stadium, and Buccaneers fans, they're thinking to themselves, not this again, this just anemic play as of late. But Lamar, he'll roll right. An unlikely pass caught by Isaiah Likely, of all people, for a 10-yard touchdown, making it 17-10 Ravens at the end of the third quarter. And Devin Duvernay, he would get the sweep, go 15 yards for a touchdown to make it 24-13. And that's pretty much all she would do in Tampa Bay, as Isaiah Likely would recover the onside kick. 27-22 Ravens win. They'll go to 5-3 on the year, and the Buccaneers will fall to 3-5.
And we got the Steelers. They're on the road taking on the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is going to drop back. He's going to launch this one to A.J. Brown. The Brown-Hurts duo, it was alive in this game. And then the Steelers, they're trying to pull out all the stops to contend with Philly. Sweep to Claypool, and he will actually throw it to Derek Watt in the end zone for the touchdown. The Steelers, they tie it on this 4th and goal call. Let's look at that one more time. Great play calling. Now early in the second, Jalen Hurts throws to his number 1 target, A.J. Brown again. You could have put every player on the secondary on him, and it didn't matter. Brown just making fun of that defense. Eagles would go on to win 35-13 in this game. Like I said, it was a great win for the Eagles over the Pittsburgh Steelers to remain undefeated.
Now Jared Goff and the Lions are taking on the Miami Dolphins. Goff is going to start off here in the red zone. He will take the snap, just keep dropping back. He'll fire this one off to DeAndre Swift, who darts up the middle. The Lions take a 14-0 lead. Lions once again in the red zone. Goff will hand it off to Jamal Williams. He will shoot right up the middle. Not a single Dolphins defender will even get a hand on him. The Lions are rolling up 21-7. The Dolphins trying to slim down this lead. Tua Tagovailoa will feel the pressure, drop back, and just heave it downfield. Somehow Jalen Waddle will haul this in and brings the Dolphins within 1 score. Now it's Miami for the lead. Tua will fire this to his tight end Mike Gesicki. No gritty here, but if you listen closely, you can hear Sports Corner correspondent Brady Hamilton losing his mind. The Dolphins will win this one 31-27 after being down big.
All right, to Carolina and Atlanta we go. Deontay Foreman, he had a touchdown earlier in this game. He'll have a 12-yard touchdown run here to make it 28-24 Panthers late in the fourth quarter. But with 2:23 left in the game, Marcus Mariota, he will connect with the best type of bird that flies through the air, and that's Damiere Byrd, and he will go all the way to the house, 31-28 Atlanta, and this is for an NFC South lead in the division. 20 seconds left in the game. Panthers are down by 6. P.J. Walker, he lets it fly, and any room for one more touchdown? Of course, that's DJ Moore for the 62-yard touchdown catch. to make it all tied up. Eddie Pinheiro to win the game. And he misses the field goal, so we will go to overtime. And overtime we go to win the game. The Panthers, Eddie Pinheiro again. He misses it. And Younghoe Koo has a chance to win it for the Falcons, and he does just that on a 41-yard field goal. 37-34, Falcons win. Falcons are 4-4 and lead the NFC South.
And we go to Minnesota. The Vikings, they're taking on the Cardinals. Close game in the third quarter, and the handoff is to Madison up the middle, and he's going to power it in for a Viking touchdown. Vikings, they take the lead in this game. Great game for Madison, and then late in the third, Kyler would drop back, and he would throw to Rondale Moore, who somehow escapes 3 Vikings defenders. Moore walks one into the end zone, and the Cardinals, they cut the deficit in this game. And then midway through the fourth, Kirk Cousins will drop back and find KJ Osborne. This touchdown will be the winner, and Kirk and the boys, they scrape the barrel against the Cardinals, and they pick up the win in this game.
Let's go to Seattle. The Seahawks are taking on the 6-1. That's right, you heard me correctly. The 6-1 New York Football Giants. Geno Smith starting things off hot. He'll fake the handoff, throw a laser straight to DK Metcalf, who is just chilling in the back of the end zone, and the Hawks will get on the board. Giants are at 2nd and goal. Daniel Jones will hand it off to Saquon Barkley. He'll barrel into the end zone. Geno's going to drop back here looking for an open man. Lobs this one 33 yards to Tyler Lockett, who hauls that in, just walks into the end zone. Geno hands it off to Kenneth Walker III. He's going to run into a wall of Giants, but he manages to escape. He gets away from the pressure. It's 4-on-1. He breaks a tackle and will head straight into the end zone. Seahawks win this one 27-13.
And from Seattle to Indianapolis, the Colts taking on the Commanders. 9-7, Colts are up with 11-17, and Nyheim Hines will get a 6-yard touchdown run to put the Colts up 16-7 in the fourth quarter. The Commanders down by 6 with 40 seconds left. Taylor Heineke, he will throw this ball down the field, and he will find the man that they call Terrence McLaurin all the way to the 1-yard line, and the Commanders are setting up what could be a win. And Taylor Heineke, oops, he runs that in for a go-ahead touchdown to make it 17-16, and that's all she wrote. Commanders will go on and win. They've won 3 straight, and they're 4-4 on the year.
And we got a divisional rival matchup. The 49ers visiting the LA Rams. Garoppolo, he checks down to McCaffrey. And McCaffrey, he would launch one to Brandon Ayuk to the end zone. Touchdown. The do-it-all man, McCaffrey to Ayuk, to tie this game at 7 apiece. And now we'll have quarterback Matt Stafford. He will drop back, and he will lob one up to his number 1 receiver, Cooper Kupp. Kupp, he had an overall great game for the Rams in this one. And then Jimmy G and the Niners, they're down 4 in the red zone. He will throw it to Christian McCaffrey, the newest San Francisco 49er, making an impact in this game. Great catch by McCaffrey, and then holding onto a slim lead. Handoff to McCaffrey, rushing touchdown, throwing touchdown, and receiving touchdown for McCaffrey. And the Niners, they beat the Rams with a final score of 31-14.
And let's finish this off with some Sunday night football. The Green Bay Packers are in Buffalo taking on the Buffalo Bills. 2nd and goal for the Bills. Josh Allen, he's going to scramble out of the pocket, do a little pump fake here. He feels the pressure, manages to lob this one to his tight end, Dawson Knox, and the Bills will get on the board first. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to drop back, looking around for an open man. He launches the ball to the corner of the end zone and hits rookie Romeo Doubs. It is a 1-score game in Buffalo. Buffalo is back on offense. Isaiah McKenzie will get the handoff, dance around the Green Bay defense, and he's going to dart into the end zone for the Buffalo TD. And the Bills will end up winning this one 27-17, and Green Bay will continue on with their rough season. Now let's talk some NFL with TV2 NFL analyst Austin Arnold. Austin, who has been the most surprising squad through 8 weeks?
There are many teams that deserve that title, but the Seattle Seahawks have been a sight to see. For the expectations many of us had going into this year for them, we all thought Seattle would be a bottom 3 team, but Pete Carroll and John Schneider have done an amazing job with the roster overhaul and coaching these young new players that they have drafted. Geno Smith is having a renaissance no one saw coming and has almost made it look like he has taken Russell Wilson's star power away from him.
And Austin, what do you make of the current state of the NFC East through 8 weeks?
Oh man, Matt, the NFC East has been a powerhouse this season. With 3 teams that have 6 or more wins and the Washington Commanders with a 500 record at 4-4, there could be a legitimate chance that all 4 teams make the playoffs, given how bad the NFC has been all year long. The Eagles could very well go undefeated, and the Cowboys defense is winning them games. The only team I fear that may regress in the coming weeks are the New York Giants. but let's see how they respond after losing to the Seattle Seahawks.
Austin, if the season ended today, who would be your way too early pick to win it all?
If I had to push all the chips on the table, all at the center, I don't see how Philadelphia doesn't win it all. They have looked like the most complete team all year long, and they only seem to keep getting better as the season goes on.
All right, thank you, Austin. And then a quick Monday Night Football update. The score is still 0-0. Joe Burrow did just throw a pick, though, and the Browns, they do have the ball back on the opposing team's 30, so we will see what happens in this game between two division rivals. And then, Liv, it's been a crazy division. Who do you think wins the AFC North?
I mean, who's to say? The division remains wide open. The Bengals have seemingly fallen from grace after a superb season last year. The Ravens also aren't really doing so hot this year. Lamar started off really great, but has had a string of bad games. The Ravens are trying to beef up their defense, but it's hard to say how much one player will help this ailing team. But I can confidently say it will not be the Steelers. Matt Canada showed glimpses of competent play calling this weekend, but with an inexperienced QB stealing the ship and Najee Harris having a horrible season, I don't see any way that they turn this around and go on, a crazy run to the playoffs. As for the Browns, well, I truly don't know. It's easy to say that Deshaun Watson will be the answer to all of the Browns' issues, but there's still the issue of a shaky defense and poor play calling by Stefanski. I think this season may be as good as done, and if I really had to pick a team, I'd choose the Ravens. I think somehow they pull this one together and win the AFC North, but I don't think they make it really far in the playoffs.
And Liv, I'm going to agree with you. I think it's the Ravens as well. Everything's going the Ravens' way. They're winning division games, and for the most part, they're primarily healthy. The Browns, they won't have Watson back till after the bye. The Bengals, they just lost Jamar Chase for several weeks. And the Steelers, they're struggling at QB in the middle of a rebuild. The Ravens have the Lamar and Andrews 1-2 punch and a defense that can play up to its competition. Things, they're not going the Bengals' way, and I don't think the Steelers or Browns have any real chance. I think, like I said, Cincinnati's the only one with a chance in there. But with no Jamar Chase, they're going to struggle. Expect the Ravens to win this division and potentially make some noise in the postseason.
We'll now head on over to the NBA, where the Cleveland Cavaliers are taking on the New York Knicks. All-star guard Donovan Mitchell will fire a three. Bang, that is good. Did you miss that play? Don't worry, he does it again. Right here. Bam, that's another three for Mitchell. He had himself a night. Now to the fourth, Jalen Brunson will lob it up, and John Randall will hit the alley-oop slam. The Cavs still lead it 64-61. Randall's driving down the court, passes it out to Evan Fournier at the corner. He will bank a three for the Knicks, and the Knicks will extend their lead over Cleveland. But it's Donovan Mitchell weaving around Knicks, rolling right, and finishing off with a one-handed slam, putting him on a poster, but anybody can do that. Mitchell, once again, just keeps draining these threes like they are absolutely nothing. The Cavs are now within one. Now it's Grandpa Kevin Love hitting a three as he is fouled. Hey, he's still got it. You can teach an old dog some new tricks. Kevin, he's going to do it again. That'll ice it for the Cavaliers. They'll take this W and win 121-108. The Cavaliers are rolling.
And we're going to go around the NBA. King LeBron James, he's taking on the Denver Nuggets in this one. The Nuggets, they're jumping out to an early lead. Here you see Aaron Gordon. He's going to get this two-hand slam to extend the Nuggets' early lead in this game. Now we got Westbrook. Bounce pass to the King. LeBron with the slam, and he was doing it all. 26, 6, and 8 for the King as he gets this assist to Russell Westbrook for the layup. And midway through the fourth, King James, pull up. It's no good. Well, a splash. LeBron and the Lakers holding on to a 9-point lead in the contest. In this game, they're holding on to a slim lead, and then down the stretch, LeBron, he would step back, and this one is no good. But Anthony Davis with the putback, the Lakers, they roll to a 121-110 lead behind the Big Three's performance.
Now to Phoenix, where the Suns are taking on the Houston Rockets. Take a look at that man there, Devin Booker. He wants his MVP campaign. Jalen Green is going to have the rock to start out. He'll dodge past Chris Paul, hit a slam dunk to cut the Suns' lead 2-3. Devin Booker will get the rebound here. He will drive down the court, lob it off to Cameron Johnson, and Johnson will get the slam dunk here for the Suns. What a great performance by him. Chris Paul passes the ball to Devin Booker. He'll drive to the basket, lobs this layup. He gets fouled, but he still makes it in. The Suns will extend their lead, and they will beat the Rockets 124-109.
And now we got the Batman rolling into TD Garden. What an asset for that Celtics team, Batman. Celtics with a 20-point lead, fast break. Jalen and Tatum back to Jalen for the score. Boston, they're just toying with the Wizards. Brown, he had 24 points in the game. And then we go to the third quarter. Marcus Smart to Tatum. And Tatum, he's got the whole Wizards defense scrambling, and he's going to take this open three. That's good. Tatum, he had 20-plus points in this game. And then we go to the fourth. Wizards are trying to stay in this one as Porzingis hits the hook shot. 17 points in the game for the big man, and then Boston up 20. Tatum driving layup off the glass. That's good. Tatum and the Celtics pick up a win behind his 23 points. It was never in doubt. Final score 112-294 in this game.
Let's take a trip over to Motor City as Detroit is taking on the Golden State Warriors, reigning champions. Start off here, Draymond will pass it out to Jordan Poole, and Poole will hit the layup off the glass and draw the foul, and that will tie things up at 9. Now Detroit on offense here. Killian Hayes will start driving, but he'll change direction. He's going to lob it over to Saddiq Bey, who hits a clutch three-pointer to cut the Warriors' lead to 5. It's Cade Cunningham with the ball now. He'll show off some footwork, and he's going to launch an easy 3 to put the Pistons within 2. Cunningham, he's going to have a difficult time with this layup here. Isaiah Stewart's trying to get the layup in. He takes it a few times. He gets it in and draws the foul. Pistons will take the lead, and it was a pool party in Detroit. Poole's going to hit a 3 to cap off a 12-0 run, all scored by him. Less than a minute to go in the game. Cunningham will lob it off to Ivy. Ivy will get the dunk, and Jalen Rose is going to hype up that Detroit crowd for their 128-114 win over the reigning NBA champs.
And now we got the Clippers. They're taking on Zion and the Pelicans in this matchup. Here we go. Reggie Jackson, he will drive, and his second effort will get this bucket. Great job following up on his miss. Let's look at that one more time. Reggie, he had 9 points in this game for the Clippers. And in the second quarter, sharpshooting big man Valanciunas, he laces this one from deep. 11-7 game for Valanciunas. And then late in the second half, Zion on the drive. How are you supposed to stop that? Strong drive by Williamson. He had a double-double on the night for the Pelicans. Great performance by him. And then in the third quarter, we see C.J. McCollum catch and shoot deep 3. All net there for C.J. He was letting them fly the entire game. He had plus 20 points. And then Devontae Graham, he's going to have an easy lob to Zion Williamson. Pelicans, they're running with this game. And Clippers trying to climb back. PG-13, rise up, splash the 3. It's good. Paul George, he's keeping his team alive, but it was too little too late. The Pelicans, they would roll past the Clippers as Trey Murphy III drills this 3 to extend the lead. Pelicans pick up a 112-91 lead over the Clips. Great game by Zion and crew.
Now the Mavericks will be facing the Magic, and ladies and gentlemen, I feel the Magic. They are starting out strong. They've got 3, count them, 3 corner threes from my Rookie of the Year candidate, Paolo Banchero, then from Wendell Carter Jr., and finally, we've got Terrence Ross here. He'll take the rock. He's going to bank another 3, and the Orlando Magic will take a 19-9 lead. Tim Hardaway, he's going to get the rock for the Mavericks. He will hit a jumper as well as drawing the foul. The Mavs now only trail by 4. Luka Doncic is going to take the stroll over to the three-point line, hit a nice and easy 3. Now the Mavs only trail by 1. They're making a comeback, folks. Don't look now. And guess what? It's Doncic. Again, he's going to dribble around Franz Wagner, drive toward the basket, get the foul and the easy layup. He's showing the guns. He's the big man. He wants that MVP. Moving on, guess who? It is Luka. He'll run into pressure from Banchero, so he'll spin out, hit a jumper, and he's going to extend the Mavericks' lead. Who can stop that man? I don't know. One more Luka highlight just for good measure. He'll get inside, make the layup. That'll be 44 points on the night for Doncic, and the Mavs get a comeback win, 114-105.
And Liv, it's so good to see NBA basketball back. And the Cavs, they're looking fantastic. 5-1 this early season, second in the East. And Mitchell, he's been phenomenal. I know it's early, but where do you see the Cavs finishing in the Eastern Conference?
I said it last week, and what I have seen in the past week only solidifies my belief that the Cleveland Cavaliers will finish second in the East, maybe third, who's to say. The Cavs are now 5-1 and took down the reigning champions of the East, the Boston Celtics, in Boston, 132-123. And while a majority of this can be contributed to the acquisition of Donovan Mitchell, a lot can be said for the energy that has recently taken over some Cavs veterans like big man Jarrett Allen, the real D-Wade, Dean Wade, and the lovingly nicknamed grandpa of the team, Kevin Love. Wade, Love, and Mitchell combined for 22 threes on Sunday's game against the Knicks, the most made by a trio ever. Every single player on this team is playing at their highest level. Wade reached a career-high 22 points, and Mitchell had his career high at 12 assists. And everyone is saying this, but imagine how good this team is going to be when they get Darius Garland and Ricky Rubio. I can imagine it now, and I imagine that there will be maybe 1, maybe 2 teams that will be able to stop them, and that's it.
I think the Cavs are going to finish the top 5 seed in the Eastern Conference. Milwaukee and Boston, they're obviously going to be there. Miami and Philly there too. But I think the Cavs, they belong in that conversation with those teams. I think Brooklyn, it will take them a little bit of time to figure it out. But like I said, I think the Cavs, they finish as a top 5 seed, and Garland and Mitchell will be looked at as one of the best backcourts in the entire league. And now we got some hockey. We got the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the New Jersey Devils. Here we go. Late in the first period, we got a 0-0 game. That will change as Nico Hescher will serve it up to Zetterlund, who will fire one for the score. He got it in the back left corner, and the Devils, their offense, they started to get going, and they were off to the races. Nico Hescher putting on the moves, and he will score. Hescher was a problem for the Blue Jackets. He gets this one of his 8 shots to go. In the second period, Devils offense took off as Ryan Graves will score. Devils take a 3-0 lead early in the second, but then just 3 minutes later, the Blue Jackets would get back on the board as Chinnikov will score. Blue Jackets, they're showing some life in this game. And then late in the second period, Devils with a 3-1 lead, and they will extend it to 4-1 off the steal and score by John Marino. Devils 4-1 through 2 periods. And more of the same in the third period. There was chaos, but Jonas Siegenthaler would score and the Devils add another. They never took their foot off the gas. Late in the third period, Miles Wood makes the play, scores to give the Devils a 7-1 lead, and that would be your final. Devils win in convincing fashion with a final of 7-1 in the game.
And we've got the New York Rangers. They are at the Arizona Coyotes. Artemi Panarin has the puck, and it's going to be Alexis Lafreniere, and he's going to dive into the goal for the score. The Rangers will take a 1-0 lead, and it's Dylan Gunther for the pass. He's going to pass that over to Lawson Krause, and that's going to be a goal. Everything is tied up 1-1. Next, we've got Artemi Panarin. He's got a goal on the breakaway here. He's going to score, and that is going to make the score now 2-2. We are all tied up once again in Arizona, but it's going to be this. Chris Kreider, he's going to pass to Mika Zibanejad for the goal, and the Rangers are going to end up winning this one 3-2. What a game. It was down to the wire, but there was never a doubt the Rangers would take this one 3-2.
And we got the Maple Leafs taking on the Ducks. Leafs, they're up 1-0 here, but Jacob Silfverberg would score to tie the game up for the Ducks. Makes the score 1-2 in the contest. We're going to take a look one more time at this great shot. Like I said, he served it right up to Silfverberg. Jacob Silfverberg making the great play for the Ducks. And now the Leafs, they're on the attack, and Mulligan would put the moves on, and he's going to score right here. Dennis Mulligan, he would give the Maple Leafs a 2-1 lead in the game, extends the lead for the Maple Leafs. He's celebrating that shot. And the Ducks, they need to respond in the third period. They're on the attack, and Dmitry Kulikov would score, and this ties the game. Ducks, they have all the momentum in this game. Like I said, Kulikov, great shot. They tie it up, and now Zegras, he would take it the whole way. And Trevor, he would score in OT. This score will win it. The Ducks win and beat the Maple Leafs 4-3 and pick up a big win. Or they pick a big win over the Maple Leafs. And the World Series has shifted back to Philly. Who has the edge in the rest of the series? We will break it down after the break.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
And the Fighting Phillies and Astros kicked off this year's edition of the Fall Classic. Let's take a look at what went down in Game 1. Game 1 of the World Series featuring the Phillies on the road taking on the Astros. Here we go in this competitive game. Bottom of the second, Kyle Tucker at bat. He's going to crush this one. Bat flip, see ya. Houston takes a 1-0 lead at home. That crowd is just going absolutely wild. And don't forget that name. We would see Tucker again, bottom of the third, and he would set one to center field. That is out of here. Houston, they take a 5-0 lead in Game 1. And it was looking ugly for Philly fans. The Astros are rolling. Tucker with 2 homers and 4 RBIs in this game. And we go to the top of the fourth, and the Phillies were looking for something. Nick Castellanos would answer as he hits this one, and that opens the door for Philly. They cut the deficit 2-4. In the top of the fourth, the Phillies were not done. A hit by Boehm will allow Harper and Castellanos to score this 2-run double. It makes the score 5-3, and the Phillies, they can smell a comeback in this game. Will they get it, though? We will see. Top of the fifth, Real Muto, he will crush one to left center field off the wall, and that will bat 2 runs in. Phillies, they are rallying, and this crowd is absolutely stunned here in Houston. And then we were tied. We were tied in the bottom of the ninth, and Castellanos will make one of the biggest plays of the game. He makes this incredible grab to send game one to extra innings. What a grab by Castellanos. His fingerprints were all over this game. Let's look at that one more time. That is just amazing. And in extras, the Phillies, with all the momentum in the world, would take the lead on this home run bomb by Real Muto, and that go-ahead shot would give the Phillies a 6-5 lead on 6 unanswered runs by the Phillies. And that's going to do it. The Phillies have one of the greatest comebacks in recent memory to steal Game 1 in Houston. 6-5 is your final as the Phillies. They find a way to seal the deal on their comeback.
We've been there before, and I think that's what this team does so well. You know, we know there's no quit, really. You know, we really respect all 27 outs, and we take that seriously, and we take it personal.
Now let's go to Game 2 at Minute Maid Park. Wheeler's on the bump. His first pitch to Altuve is a double, way out to left field. Rough start for the Phils. Altuve turning on the Jets to make it all the way to second. He is safe. Now Wheeler's second pitch. That's going to be to Jeremy Pena. And Jeremy Pena is going to copy Altuve. He's going to send it into left field for another double. And that will score Altuve. Astros will take a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Yordan Alvarez up to bat for the Stros, and guess what? It's another double. Crushed out to left field, and Pena will come home. The Astros are getting off to a hot start here at home. Houston has a 2-0 lead. Still in the first, Alvarez will advance to third, and Gurriel will ground this one to short, and Edmund Sosa will throw to first, but his throw is in the dirt, and Houston now leads 3-0. Now to the bottom of the fifth, Alex Bregman batting, and he will crush that one out to center field. That's a 2-run, a home run, and the Astros will take a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the fifth. Phillies will not be shut out, however. They'll get 2 runs on the board, but a quick ground now from Bryson Stott will end the game, and the World Series is tied at 1 as we head back to Philadelphia.
As I've said all along with this club, they've really got a short memory, and I expect them to come in there and be ready to go in front of a rabid fan base, and you know, they're going to flush it and move forward, and I expect them to come out and prepare and compete just like they always do.
And Liv, we both had Phillies and 6 as our prediction before the series started. But let's talk about Game 3 specifically. They are coming off a brutal 5-2 loss. So what do you expect from the Phillies in their upcoming game that has been postponed, unfortunately, tonight?
I mean, I know the Phillies had a dismal outing on Saturday, but tomorrow, mark my words, they're going to bounce back. They're coming off a rough loss, like you said, but that will light a fire under them, and they're coming home ready to fight. The atmosphere in Philly is unlike anything I have ever seen. The Phils fans are ready for a win. Now, Syndergaard has not been superb on the bump this season, but Lance McCullers Jr. of the Astros has already lost to the Phillies, and there's no reason to think it can't happen again tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be a high-scoring game with the lead going back and forth quite a bit. I anticipate a 7-6 win for the Fightin' Phils. Philly is hungry for this win, and I know their fans will help lift them to this W tomorrow evening.
Liv, I think the Phillies win, and the home crowd, they play a big part in that. That stadium, it's been rocking, and they have a real offensive advantage at catcher with JT Realmuto, and this has been the most hot team this postseason. They've already done their job early in the series. Steal one game on the road, and they did just that. They literally stole that game, coming back down 5-0 and winning in the most impressive fashion. The Astros did respond in Game 2, but you can't help but think that crushing loss can linger this series. Had to be demoralizing for that team, and I expect the Phillies to capitalize on that throughout the rest of the series.
Who? Did I get you? Well, hopefully I did, because we have a scary good countdown on this Halloween night that you won't want to miss. It was another unforgettable week in sports, so who will take the top spot? Let's find out as we go to the countdown. At number 10, Kent State Soccer. Their season came to an end Thursday with a 2-0 loss to the number 1 team in the MAC, the Buffalo Bulls. The team showed a lot of fight due to the fact that they had a lot of star seniors leave in 2021, led by Danny Tyson. The future is bright on the pitch in Kent, Ohio. Make no mistake about that. At number 9, how about the LA Lakers? They won a game, 121-110 over the Nuggets on Sunday, and they are now 1-5. 26 points for LeBron James, 23 points for Anthony Davis. Hopefully, we'll see them on the countdown more this semester. I'm just saying, hopefully, we'll see more of Tinseltown up there. Now let's go to number 8. Here in just a moment, the Hoban Knights are going to get this spot, as they welcomed in Willoughby South and took care of business by the final score of, get this, 57-14. Quarterback Lamar Sperling looks like Lamar Jackson. You may hear from him later in the countdown with 6 rushing touchdowns, like Matt said earlier in the day. Hoban's looking to win their second state title in 3 years as they are the 1 seed in Division II Region 5. At number 7, Tennessee. There is no hangover after their win against Alabama, 44-6 over arch rival Kentucky. Look, the black and orange jerseys on Halloween weekend, a great look. Hendon Hooker, an even better one, 245 yards through the air, 3 scores. He's the Heisman frontrunner on a signature season in Knoxville. Number 6, the Philadelphia Eagles. In the All-Pennsylvania Bowl, they downed the Steelers 35-13. That man, A.J. Brown, had a career day. 6 catches, 156 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm going to be honest, folks, Philly runs the countdown. At number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. They go into Tampa Bay and take down Brady and the Bucks 27-22. Lamar Jackson puts the Ravens now at 5-3, first place in the AFC North, and the flock out in Bmore, they're flying, folks. They have won 3 of their last 4 games. Good times indeed for the fans down there in Baltimore. Taking things now back to Friday Night Lights at number 4, the Hudson Explorers. How about a playoff shutout to keep your perfect season alive? They go to 11-0 thanks to a 31-0 win over Solon. They will host Walsh Jesuit in the next round, and the craziest part about it all, that is their 3rd shutout of the season. A year of excellence for the Explorers. At number 3, the Michigan Wolverines. Michigan State was in the big house. It was a big-time feel to this one before, but after the game, a different story. 29-7, just another day in the office for Harbaugh and the boys. Michigan is at number 7 in the CFP rankings. Could they sneak into that playoff when it's all said and done? Who knows? At number 2, how about the Cleveland Cavaliers? They lost their first game in Toronto. Ever since then, won 5 straight. Donovan Mitchell is proving why he's a top talent in the league each and every night, and the Cavs are looking scary good going into the month of November and potentially maybe a candidate coming out of the East. Who knows? But at numero uno, Phillies and Astros. I'm picking both teams because the World Series is tied at 1-1 heading into tonight. Phillies scored 6 unanswered to win it in 10 in Game 1. The Stros dominated the second game by the final of 5-2. Game 3 is tonight, should be a classic. Phillies and Astros, you're both number 1 on the Corrali Countdown. Liv, back to you.
Coming up, we've got our award-winning segments, including our Men on the Silver Mountain and the return of a familiar segment. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Roses are red and violets are blue. The Magic Money line is back and it's catered to you. Man, let's just get to this Magic Money line that we have for this week. We have the Calgary Flames minus 215 tomorrow night against the Kraken at the Saddle Dome at home. That should be a pretty easy one for Calgary. I don't expect them to lose to Seattle at home. Then on Saturday, we have the Daniel Rodriguez money line for the UFC fights. He is a minus 105 underdog, but he's only lost 1 fight in the UFC, and it's a co-main event, so this one is one of the bigger events for this young man as a fighter. And then finally on Monday, I'm going to take the Washington Commanders money line at plus 150. They've won 3 straight games, and they are one of the hottest teams in the NFL right now. Expect them to cash out on that plus 150. The parlay odds are plus 615. $100 gets you 715 in return.
It is time for my sharpest take. All right, this one, it's going to take a minute to see if this one ends up being true, but I believe that Kevin Stefanski will be on the hot seat next year if the Cleveland Browns do not make the playoffs. So stay with me. The Browns have invested in Deshaun Watson as their franchise quarterback. They have surrounded him with the necessary weapons, and the defense should have no reason to be as shaky as they are this season once everyone is healthy. There's a chance to maybe have a new defensive coordinator. Stefanski has all the tools in order to succeed, and if for some reason he fails to do so due to his shabby play calling, then the Browns should look around for another head coach. His play calling has been rough this season, and many fans are already calling for him to be fired. I think they need to calm down. The season is all but over, but that is not entirely his fault. But if they fail next season, I'll entertain the idea.
And for my Mergen Minute this week, I want to talk about the craziness in the NFC South. I picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win the division, as I'm sure many other people did, and I would have understood an argument for the Saints, but the Atlanta Falcons have inserted themselves into this conversation, and I am stunned. Change of QB this season, Cordero Patterson being on IR, no Calvin Ridley this year, and despite all that, this team has delivered time and time again and put themselves in a position no one expected. This is not an early season fluke where we are only a few games in. The Atlanta Falcons are a serious threat to win their division. I'm not saying they will, I'm not picking against Tom Brady, but don't be surprised if this Atlanta team makes it a race right till the end. And for my man on the Silver Mountain pick this week, I went with Geno Smith. The veteran has one of the greatest stories this season, and everyone wrote off the Seahawks team. They took down a 6-1 Giants team and showed they are for real. Geno had 200-plus passing yards and 2 touchdowns, which could have easily been 3 if it wasn't for a drop touchdown reception. Geno has had an incredible impact on the Seahawks team and has led them to first in the division. Division full of talent, including the reigning Super Bowl champion Rams. No one saw this coming from a Seattle team that everyone expected to tank, and Geno's career resurgence is a big reason, and that is why he is my man on the Silver Mountain pick this week.
The first time we have a college player as my man on the Silver Mountain. And if any of you watched the OSU game this weekend, you know who it is. That's right, it is JT Tuimoloau, the defensive beast who had the best game of his college career on Saturday. Let's look over the stat line, shall we? 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and 2 interceptions, one of which was a pick 6. He not only got the first interception of his career, but he got his second one as well. Oh, and one more thing. He's a sophomore. That means we get to see him destroy QBs like a college Myles Garrett for years to come. The dude had a ridiculous game and was a bright spot on OSU's already stellar defense. Do you know how many other college football players have 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery all in the same game? That's right, no one. Tuimoloau established himself in a league of his own at 19. Congrats, JT. You are my man on the Silver Mountain.
And then we just got a quick update, Monday Night Football score. Score is still 0-0, second quarter. Surprised there hasn't been more scoring in this game. I expected a little bit from Nick Chubb or something from the Bengals with Joe Burrow. But we will see what happens. Division rival game, anything can happen, and hopefully the Browns can pick up a win. And thank you for tuning in to this episode of Sports Corner.
Be sure to follow us on social media at TV2KSU Sports for more sports updates in and around Portage County. I'm Liv Sharp.
And I'm Matt Mergen. I hope you all have a happy Halloween.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Good.
Homemade noodles. Oh. Marty, stop it. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It reminds me, I've been thinking maybe we should try a new form of birth control. I heard about this one, it's called the IUD, intrauterine device. Or we could try the patch on your arm. Actually, I think that one goes on your butt.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think then? Arm or the butt?
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Danse, balance sur la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence dans ma belle robe blanche.
give up on sex, don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.